So now we're going to have a look at some of the steps you can do to check for visual stress, also known as scotopic sensitivity or Irlen syndrome. Now this is important to do because I see a lot of children who have come to me because they've got phonological dyslexia, or more accurately, they've got a report that says they've got phonological dyslexia. When they come to me, I see very quickly they don't have phonological dyslexia, they've just got visual stress, or Irlen syndrome, scotopic sensitivity, whatever you want to call it. And it's actually much easier to deal with than phonological dyslexia. So you want to pick those kids out accurately. So what you need when you're looking for visual stress is you need a page of white paper with text all over it. And here's some notes that I've been using while I've been filming, and pretty much something like that's ideal. You know, you've just got a whole heap of text, you've got a plain white background, simple. And then you take this and you photocopy it onto a whole heap of other colours. The more colours the better, okay? And it's particularly important that when you're photocopying it, you photocopy the blues and the purples, because it's really common that children will find it easier to read from pale blue or dark blue, or from pale purple or dark purple. But the more colours the better. Pink's another fairly common one, grey's a fairly common one. But just get that sheet photocopied on a number of different colours. Then you need to put the text in front of the child and have the child describe to you what the text is doing. Now, it's important that when the text is in front of the child that you don't have the child with their shadow over the text, because you want to have a fairly bright situation around the child. If the text is in shadow, it's actually a grey colour, not a white colour. And if you've got fluorescent lighting around you, that's even going to make it easier for you to pick out visual stress, because fluorescent lighting is very white and it really makes it so that children with visual stress are more likely to struggle. So if you haven't done this much before, then doing it with fluorescent lighting around you is pretty much ideal. Now, it's important to not put words in the child's mouth. Most children, they want to please you. They're going to say what they think you want to hear. Okay, or if it's a yes/no question, they're probably going to say yes. So you want to use open questions. You don't want to say, are the words moving on the page? You want to say, tell me what the words are doing on the page. Keep your questioning open so we're not putting words in their mouths. So you need the child to stare at a letter or a word that's in the middle of the page, and you need to make really clear to them that you want them to stare at that spot, not look up at you and answer questions. Now, some questions to ask the child as they're staring at that page. One is, what are the words on the page doing while you stare at that particular point on the page? What are the words doing? And then ask that same question again, but just from a different angle. So you might say, what is the black writing on the page doing? A question that I find helps a lot is to say, are the words on the page staying in their place, or are they doing something different? Another good question to ask is, are the words on the page all easy to see, or are there some words that are harder to see while you stare at that point? Now start with white paper, because if the child is looking at that point on the page and you've asked them the question a number of different ways, and basically they're telling you that the words are staying still, there's nothing weird happening, the words aren't moving, they're not shaking, they're not blurring out, there's nothing weird happening, then you can end that right there and then, because the child clearly does not have visual stress. Or if they do, it's so ultra mild that it just doesn't impact them. And you can go and look at, well, okay, if that's not what is this child's problem, then what is this child's problem? But if you do find that the child is describing symptoms of the words not staying still, that's when you need to investigate how the child goes with reading from different colours. So that's where you get out the other pages. And you might go the white page and then the purple page, and then back to the white page so they can compare it, and then back to the blue page. So it's white, purple, white, blue, white, pink. You're just going from the white to the colours, and what you're trying to do is pick the colour where the child suddenly goes, oh, that's different. The words are doing something different now, they're staying still. Or the words are doing something different now, they're actually quite clear. It wasn't like that before. And that's where you found the colour that's going to help this child. Now, there's something really, really important you need to know. And that is that many children will describe the words being a little bit fuzzy, or will be having the words do slightly weird things, like maybe just a slight shimmer or a slight blur. You know what, if the words are not sort of doing something significant, if they can still read, it's not the core issue. A lot of testing for visual stress is all about zeroing right in and finding exactly, oh, is anything happening to the words on the page? In my opinion, unless the words are doing something significant, you haven't actually found the core problem. It's still good to change the colour of the page to something more comfortable for the child, but you've got to find the core of the problem. And if the words aren't really doing anything weird, then you haven't found the core of the problem and you need to keep looking.